movement may be developing in American politics with Republican and Democratic Party identification at historical lows. So take a look at the numbers since 1988. You see both major parties losing support while independents keep gaining. From 2004 and on, independents really take off, setting the stage for a third-party alternative. My next guest is the author of the Centrist Manifesto, Charles Wheelan, senior lecturer and policy fellow at the Rockefeller Center at Dartmouth College, and he joins The Real Story now. Mr. Wheelan, great to have you on The Real Story. So is the time finally here for this new kind of a party, a centrist party?
If the time is not now, it's got to be soon. I think Americans are watching the same cage fight, isn't that what you called it earlier in the hour? That the rest of us are, and an increasing number of them are despairing about whether this cage fight can do what it's supposed to do, which is to govern. And it's not sufficient to elect people. They've actually got to come together and solve real problems. As the data show, the Gallup data, people are increasingly losing faith that either of the two parties are the home for them when they care about solving problems.
Okay, so here's the thing. A lot of people have written editorials this time around that they believe that both sides, both parties, have become so polarized, so far to the right or so far to the left, that there is this huge swath of people in the middle who just simply can't identify with that. But how do you get that started? People always say independents can't win.
Well, historically, there have been a number of problems with mobilizing independents. One is that independent means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Those folks showing up in polls could be to the right of Donald Trump. They could be to the left of Bernie Sanders. I think one thing that's different now is because we're seeing the defections from the two major parties, that suggests that an increasing proportion of these people are somewhere in between, and that is a force that can be used constructively to govern.
Okay.
The question then is, how do you organize these people? And I think that's the next step. Maybe Michael Bloomberg's announcement will move us in that direction.
Okay. Let me ask you this, because I know you're a big proponent of the fact that it's not just the presidency that you're talking about. You believe that this movement needs to start in Congress. Why?
I would go one step further and say it really shouldn't start in the presidency, because the Electoral College makes it extremely hard for a third-party candidate of any kind to get a majority in the Electoral College, and absent that, it then goes to the House, where there are not enough independents to make a difference. I would start in the Senate, because in most states there's not a runoff for a Senate seat. So if you imagine a three-way race with a traditional Republican, traditional Democrat, and then an independent, the two traditional candidates go to their bases, become highly polarized, and that leaves a huge gap in the middle for an independent, a centrist independent candidate who can win with 38, 39, 37% of the vote.
And then I know you believe that that sets a trend then once you get on Capitol Hill, where maybe those people end up being sort of the negotiators and bringing both of the sides together. It's a fascinating concept. People have talked about it for years. Whether or not it actually happens is a whole other ballgame. Professor Wheelan, great to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.